Be honest, guys. You got wrecked, didn't you? Yeah, it was you. You guys are you're that top level influencer. You're the insider. You're the cabal. And man, if you are, you got destroyed yesterday. Not me. Wouldn't be me. I'm going to show you my trade yesterday. I'm going to brag, and then you're going to laugh at how little it was. But I'm going to show you. All right. Okay, before we get to that, man, I got a special guest today. If you're watching over on YouTube, you saw the thumbnail. You know I got a guest. None other than our chief business officer here at CryptoSlam, a good friend of mine. Honestly, I've said he's my mentor here in this space. Brought me into CryptoSlam. I got to get him up while I'm singing his praises here. But yes, my good friend Yohann here on the show. Let me get you up here, Yohann. Good to see you, man. Boom.
Hey.
Welcome, brother.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. Loud and clear. I forgot you're a professional at this.
Yeah. Well, you taught me everything I need to know.
Right. Yeah. Okay, I don't even know where to start because we just kind of did it last minute. I just feeling like having a guest and somebody to talk the market with, and like I told you guys over the past couple of weeks here, having Randy on, having Chris and Scott just about a week ago. Like I want to start getting you more introduced to the team. It's guys that you've probably traded with. It's guys that you probably at times have traded against. It's guys who are here and live and breathe the space like we do. And it's time to introduce you to the whole damn gang. And again, Johann's been around the block. I'll let him tell a story, but Yohann does run circles around us. He's been in this time longer than most people I know. So with that said, do you want to introduce yourself? How formal you want to do this, or do you want to just keep this casual?
Yeah, I'll do a quick intro. I'm hearing a slight echo there. Is there anything I can do to stop that? Or
I'm so not used to having guests, so yeah, it should be better now.
Okay, all right, sounds good. Yeah, no, I got introduced to this space like in 2017, 18, around there, or it's 18. I was actually with a big bank, and I quit that job to move back to Canada, and I started up my company, Illumi, and ended up joining CryptoSlam, and from then I was in the trenches in NFTs before it had even started. Met Randy, our founder, in a group chat in Telegram, trading garbage pail kit NFTs. And I just fell in love with CryptoSlam. I was like, man, what Randy's got going on here, I want to be a part of it. So I sold him on bringing me on, and this since then we've had a lot of success raising some money and building out the platform. And essentially what I do here is like I bring in the money, the ARR, and try and get that part of the business up and going. So that's been fun. It's been a journey. It's a lot different than my old IT career that I spent a lot of time for. I'm actually a trained software engineer. But yeah, now I close deals. So it's like it's a full circle.
Total 180 kind of, right? It's funny how many people in this space have that technical background, which makes a lot of sense, right? Like I do too, but a lot of people here just are. I mean, this is cutting edge stuff, and it makes sense that people that recognized it early, again, probably are pretty heavy into tech, career wise, hobby wise,
Well, that's why
I noticed.
I guess I understood the space from a technical side. I didn't read the Bitcoin white paper like I should have. I was just one of those idiots that just faded Bitcoin,
right,
even though I knew about it really, really early on. And I was like, I want to find the next best thing. And that was the journey that everybody needs to go on. Sometimes it's like, there isn't a second best sometimes. And I'm not going to be channeling Michael Saylor here or anything right now, but that sometimes that concept is out there. So
yeah, that's funny you say that too about feeling like you missed Bitcoin, and it's like, well, let me catch the next one. I mean, that's first off, it's phenomenal. Like, it's so much fun to realize and to like kind of live through the fact that there is always going to be a next one. Like that feeling of I missed it is the worst. Like, it's the worst. It's one of the worst feelings out there, period. And you get that with Bitcoin, and maybe people got it with ETH because it's certainly a different thing than it used to be years ago. But man, There always is a next thing, isn't there? Including in like NFTs and including the way things cycle, which I've loved to watch that unfold over the past few years. There's always a next thing, and it just kind of keeps you going, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, take a look at the historical like coin market cap top 5 or top 20. You'll see stuff on there that just doesn't exist anymore, and stuff that has just fallen off. And it's just funny to see the stories of people who've been in this space. It's just insane how much innovation is going on here on an everyday basis. So
Okay, just because you said it, let's a little trip down memory lane. Like it's wild. It is wild how much things change. So looking at the all time volume, basically shows you the historic projects and then some of the early 21 and then some early 2022 projects that kind of they shaped this space. But it is interesting when you look at today's leaderboards, and you know we look at it throughout the day every day. But it has been different the past year at least, couple years. But I mean, nothing
yeah,
tops the king.
Axie, Top Shot, yeah, it all started with them. What was the other one with the kitties? The kitties somewhere over there.
The
So
kitties. Hold
rare.
on. What's the
So rare
kitties?
is like so underrated though. Like it's just a steady Eddie, you
You
know?
know, well, funny you say that. Somebody made a comment in our Slack this week. So Rare was the top collection here in the past week. In fact, let me flip to that just so we can see. But
Really, was it?
it was, yeah, and it's well, yeah. At this point, D Market's special too, man. I could do a whole episode on D Market. Actually, we should get the D Market guys on here sometime. Like, I'm a gamer. Actually, I think you are to a degree too. But
Yeah, I'm more like I don't like to be pressured by games, so I don't like real-time games. I like
like PvP and
turn-based
stuff.
strategies.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Oh, those are fun.
yeah.
But man, D Market, for anybody who doesn't know, it's like it's gaming skins, like major mainstream games like Counter Strike and Dota and Team Fortress and Rust and like that kind of stuff. And these skins are they're not tokenized directly, but I think the sales are tokenized and they're on chain, and the sales themselves are non fungible tokens, which is
Right.
super interesting. Man, the use case it's growing. It's different.
Mythos chain is just like so what we need in this industry. It's a real life popular game, you know, NFL Rivals, Counter Strike, and it's reporting on chain. So, you know, what can be built there? I know those guys for a while. They've been building things out for years. So they definitely have and their CEO is just amazing. Like he just gets it. Like how things need to be mass adopted. So wonderful
Uh,
working with them.
so they have NFL Rivals.
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure that's Mythos. They have a racing game, Nitro. I'm gonna peek, but it's interesting. We're in such an echo chamber here. That some of these games that have this mainstream appeal and actually have like pretty significant adoption, like Rivals in particular, I know grew past like 1 million users. It might have even been like 2 million, and I don't hear anybody talking about it other than we get to see part of their chain represented on the leaderboard. But there's some big stuff happening right under people's noses, and again, they may not realize it. That's why I think it's awesome to get to show things like this here. But yeah, Nitro is a racing game, and it's actually super cool. Their games are incredible, and again, guys, quietly just building some of the most mainstream crypto products that are even out there. So I love to see it, man.
Yeah, and they're moving over to Polkadot ecosystem, which is sometime like you saw our aggregations were zero there, but it's not zero, and that'll be fixed very shortly.
Nice. Okay. But yeah, I knew they were. I knew they were doing
GPK.
numbers from some articles. Yeah, man, look at that. Choina's an OG. You would get along really well with Choina.
I actually know China from back then. He was a wax guy.
Yeah,
Interesting.
dude, that's awesome. How did I get to know Choina? Choina was through NFT Live. I think it was through that show. I think
Okay.
we met there, and he's been faithful watcher over here for a while. And awesome dude.
I love your community, man. Like I pop in every once in a while, and it's the same Cheers crew, you know, like your Norm and everyone else is like jumping into your bar. If
Oh,
you got
man.
that reference.
It's a good community. I love it. It's kind of on one hand, like it's about time that CryptoSlam starts building our family. We've people who've been using the site now for years and years and years. Remind me how old? 2018 is when the site started.
Randy started it in 2018, and you know it really got going with Top Shot, and that was in like late 2020 when those packs were starting to sell out and stuff like that. Even Wax, like GPK and things like that too, were starting to kick off. So
That's right. Yeah, and I don't know. I think the show just gives and more to come still. But the show and shows give the community who've been using the platform a little more insight. Again, getting to meet you and the other guys we've had on, it gets them to actually be a part of this broader CryptoSlam thing, of this family. Like behind the scenes guys, it's a family. It's guys who have been, I always say, like, going to war together, you know, like they're it's this it's like a fraternity or a brotherhood, or what. It's just a really special thing that's been going on. And when people talk about building in this space, it's here, and we've gotten to live it. It's a blast. But again, bringing you guys closer to that is super important. And I can say, like, Yohann, I still don't know a lot of what I can and cannot say, and that's why I bring you guys on sometimes so you can say it. But I definitely like to hint at, a lot of what we're building is bringing CryptoSlam and the community, again, much closer into, like, where it's getting more Web3, right? It's making the community such a big part of the product itself. So,
yeah, and if you always know what we can and can't say, just always err on what we post on Twitter. I mean, that's the, just check our Twitter account and put notifications on. That'll give you an idea of what's coming.
It's a good call. It's kind of against my nature. I'm like, I'm a little too close to the degen stuff. And
you like speculation stuff. And
yep. I want to say all the words we're not allowed to say, you know, like that's me. That's you know that. So
that's why you're into space, man.
I love it, man. Okay, well, I figure let's weave war stories and more behind the scenes CryptoSlam, and maybe we can tease it, you know, stuff to come. But I'd love to hear what I normally do, which is talk about the market and some current events, and
absolutely
get your perspective on a lot of it. Again, you've got that experience that I think hearing from you actually adds a lot. So, meme coins has been, I think, the biggest thing this cycle, which is wild. It's not, I guess it's not, it's actually not. It makes a lot of sense that NFTs are basically memes. And I've always said, I think NFTs are technically shit coins that we've got dressed up into something a little more formal, but a lot of it is just that. Anyway, it's the meme coin cycle, and we had a big one drop yesterday. Please, Yohann, tell me you didn't get wrecked by the RTR token yesterday.
No, I didn't. I saw it happening. I saw the post going out like, hey, you know, this could be it. This could be the one. And the video sold it. I saw the video. So I get why a lot of people rode that up there. Did you get some, Hudah?
Yes.
Nice.
I did.
Did you get out on time?
So not only did I get out on time, I also got in on time.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so I'm going to show a screenshot here. It's not so impressive, but let me see if I can bring this up. Okay, maybe I don't know how to show it. It's just oh, no, hang on, I do. What I'm getting, so I actually used a Telegram bot for the first time to trade a meme coin. I've never done that before. I gotta tell you, dude, love it. Like, absolutely love it. It made it so much easier than going on a DEX and, like, adjusting my slippage and just, like, DEX isn't, it adds a couple layers of, like, barriers, right? It just does. The bot was just a click. Like, I paste in a contract address, I hit enter, and then I click, you know, buy for 1 SOL, whatever it is, right?
Hell yeah.
So easy. I've never, like, man, it gets me extra bullish on blinks over on Solana, right? Anything that's just cutting out the red tape, it's bringing you closer to, you know, whatever it is, your transaction. Anyway, I bought as soon as it dumped. Where did I buy? I think
you bought after the dump.
I bought after, as soon as the dump happened, because it's such an extreme dump.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it was just almost a common sense thing. I'm like, okay, it has so much volume. It has so much volume. I'm like, after the dump happens, people are going to go and try to push it back up, whether it's manipulators or people feeling like they can do what I'm doing. It's a last-ditch effort. And so I bought right at the bottom, and almost doubled my money right there. It was awesome. So
you got on the bounce back.
Exactly. So nice little scalp. And I'll tell you what, only because of that bot, I think it made it so much quicker, easier. I felt like I could get in and out quick enough to actually do that. I don't think I would have chanced it, you know, elsewhere. But anyway, that was my entry in. We actually were looking at this token live on this show yesterday as it happened, and we were trying to decide if we were going in or not, as we saw influencers tweeting about it. And in the video you mentioned, we saw it, right? It scared me off. The video scared me off because it wasn't the Trumps talking about it currently or even saying the word, you know, I don't think. So I don't think any of us bought then. But anyway, influencers got wrecked, man, didn't they?
I don't know too much about it. Like I'm hearing from you. I see this stuff all the time, and it's like, even last cycle, it's is this an official account talking about it?
This is the founder of Solana. This is them tweeting ahead of time, right? This was like, again, the
He's the
influencers.
founder of Solana.
Yes, and they got in
Okay.
very early, and they all pumped the hell out of this token. They did. So,
Okay, I remember seeing this tweet. That's where I saw the. Okay, gotcha.
yep. So he talked about it, Farouk, Farouk being Farouk, and also tweeting about it. And again, all these guys tweeting about it early. Size Chat, I love Size Chat, by the way, awesome dude.
Yeah.
But also tweeting about it early. All of them, and then the Trumps come out and they're like, hey, not ours,
Yeah.
destroyed those guys. It absolutely destroyed them.
He's got a good brand name for better or worse. He's got a great brand name. So
Junior does.
no, just the Trump name. It just
Man.
it makes people go and buy stuff. So
not gonna lie, I kind of wanted those gold shoes when they came out, and I'm not a Trump guy, but
I looked at the shoes and I'm like, this is not an official Trump shoe, is it? I wasn't. I saw him in Nashville. It was pretty insane to get that.
Did you watch the speech? Were you there for that?
Yeah, I was live. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay, dude, maybe you can go a little over that conference and what that felt like. Yeah, I would love to hear, because we got Henry sharing a little bit, but he didn't stay for the Trump part. Well, yeah, what was that like? What was the energy like? At a Bitcoin
dude,
event?
it was people were excited and in typical Trump fashion, I used to be a Guns N' Roses fan, and ever since then I knew that Axel always came late out on stage. So that's like the rock star mentality. Like, doesn't matter what the excuses, they're always going to be 45 minutes to an hour and a half late, right? And like, he didn't disappoint. He came out late, and that 45 minutes to half an hour, people didn't want to leave their seats to go to the restroom. Like, there was lineups to the restroom. The men's line was terrible. The women's people were finding secret toilets to go to. It was just insane. And then he was late. He came on, and then it was a good speech. Like, people wanted to hear what he had to say. So, but yeah, I got my tickets way before he was announced. I got my tickets like months ago.
It was kind of a last minute thing, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was a last minute thing. It was a last minute thing for him.
This is the crowd, by the way, leading up to maybe, the convention center or whatever. But this was people in Nashville just kind of out on the streets.
Yeah, so I didn't even get to see this. I was at a side event, and it was like around 10 o'clock that side event was, and I made it there, and it was hot in Nashville, and I was about another few kilometers or miles away from where they were gonna have Trump speak, and he was gonna speak at 2:30 in the afternoon, and they suggested that you get to your seats at 12:45, and I was at that side event at 10 o'clock, and I left like after 15 minutes. I'm like, and I even had the VIP seats. So I was lining up for the VIP seats even. So I had to go early just to get a good VIP seat.
Wow.
And I had to leave that side event early. So it was people are excited, man.
What was the energy like from like the audience, not just the Trump part, but for the whole conference, and then any takeaways, I guess, in the world of Ordinals, because I've heard that there wasn't a lot of there weren't a lot of people who even knew what Ordinals were there, or if they did, they still don't like them. It feels like kind of an uphill battle for Ordinals, runes, BRC20, all that stuff still.
Well, the underlying asset of BTC and what I've gotten to know is that, and I talked to a lot of business people there too as well, like people who are running investment funds with Bitcoin and stuff. And the one thing that people are all trying to do is increase their Bitcoin holdings. And it's like the business models I'm seeing are, give me your Bitcoin or some of it, and I'll give you back more Bitcoin. And I think that, in my mind, that's what Ordinals and runes and BRC20s are. They're the underlying asset, but it's a speculative play to get more Bitcoin at the end of the day. And I think like that's people there who have been Bitcoiners for a long time. They just it's gonna be hard to give up their Bitcoin. Oh, yeah. So you got to make like a very compelling sort of business case for that.
I always call it mining Bitcoin. Like,
Yep.
I mean, I don't think the little guys can mine Bitcoin anymore. Although I did see this was probably about a month, maybe maybe two at the most. But somebody with like a little tiny, very very cheap portable mining rig actually mined a block. Like the chances of that are so small, so small. But it happened. It worked.
I
And
really like that analogy, by the way. Like I heard that on your show, and it you get it. You get it. So you know, and the thing too is like when Ethereum exploded, and all of those altcoins that spurred off of Ethereum, um, those did better than Ethereum. Like look at Doge and
yeah.
some of those market caps. If you look at the charts of like ETH versus Doge or ETH versus some of the other EVM coins that came out, they mooned against Ethereum. So that's what people are doing with runes and BRC20 and the underlying assets, right?
Oh,
Even
that's
art, like art and Harto and all those different pieces.
Yeah, it's such a good point. I hadn't really considered that too. We write that people are so dismissive of those assets and feel like they take away. And even if they do, right? Even if they do, which I don't think they do, I think they add to the ecosystem. But you can't dismiss like their potential.
Oh
And
no, you
like
can't.
it's like that phrase that I hate. But history doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. I mean, it is the same thing happening. It's happening on Bitcoin now. It just is.
Yeah, what
Um,
happens to the macro? Like what if somebody says something about Bitcoin or the strategic reserve doesn't happen or something weird? Then all these assets underlying, people are just going to go into them, I'm speculating anyways.
Right. I mean, yeah. I mean, I think that then if the use case for gold isn't digital gold, which it is, right? But if it's not that, at least then you have something you can do with the Bitcoin. To me, it's just a net positive. All it does is add to the ecosystem, and man, I
That's
wish it wasn't
exactly
so
what happened to
challenging.
ETH during NFTs, right?
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. But why is it so challenging for people? Why is it so hard? I mean, it's funny. I'm asking out loud, and I know why it is. It's a complicated tech and like concept. It's still a tricky concept. These digital assets, like, it's a very hard thing for people to understand. People who are outside of this space, right? Why would I go and buy this, uh, like fake invented, digital property? Hell, Yohann, I heard the co-founder of Tezos last week. I don't know if you saw this, but called Bitcoin fake internet money.
Yeah, I saw
And if
her
people in
interview.
crypto say that, right, what normal people are going to think the same thing about, NFTs and collectibles. Like, they're fake. They don't even exist. So,
Well, I mean, isn't that exactly why meme coins are sticking around? Is because people are just resigned to the fact like this all stuff is pretend anyways, so we might as well just go with the funniest shit.
oh, I like that. I like that. Honestly, they get right to the core of what this is, I think.
Yeah.
Speaking of, yeah, we should chat meme coins. Again, we've still got. I mean, today we're basically dealing with the fallout of this, the Restore the Republic, and mostly because it's still relevant, because we still have the Trump token coming. We don't know exactly when, maybe today, maybe a doubt over the weekend, or Trump has an interview with Elon Musk on Monday. Maybe he's going to announce this token there. And to me, this is a milestone, as much as Trump releasing NFTs was a milestone.
Why are you so sure he's releasing a token?
They said they are.
They did?
I mean,
That's news to
and by
me.
the way, it's not Trump himself, but his kids. So let me pull that up in
Okay.
case you hadn't seen. This is it's pretty darn big. So Junior and Eric both said, um, oh geez, it was his pin tweet. I might have to go back a little bit, but basically, I can sum it up as I look for it. We love DeFi. We're about to change the world in crypto, basically. And again, we know they like it at this point for
Hmm.
a few different reasons, but they've never hinted that they were dropping a crypto before like they are now. And then also tweets yesterday when they distanced themselves from that RTR token. They said this isn't the one. This isn't ours.
Okay. So
They're
between those two clues, you're like 80% sure they're gonna drop something.
I mean, I think at this point, 99% sure.
Wow.
Like, I'm
Okay.
very, very sure. Here we go. We're about to shake up the crypto world with something huge. Decentralized finance is the future. Don't get left behind.
Hey, what if the ticker's huge? Or
It
huge?
could be huge. I'm leaning towards, I think it's Defiant. And they also trademarked something called World Liberty. So maybe it's going to be Liberty or see,
Interesting.
I think they should do what you said. They should lean into like what people like about them, the huge or MAGA or, it's like, to me, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
What can you
Yeah,
do?
yeah. I mean, I've only invested in one Trump thing, and that's the rune. I think I DM'd you that one time. It was like, I get it because it was runes were all hyped up then. It was the first rune, but yeah, whatever. As long as I like it that they're getting involved. To be honest, it brings mass appeal.
Yeah, it's like I try to remind people not to overthink it. And like, I get it. If you don't want to support him, I totally get it. Totally get it. Like, I don't like the guy. I love the fact that he's here in crypto and pushing adoption. I mean, there's people out there who will get into Bitcoin and crypto for the first time because of a Trump token, right?
Yeah,
They're like, hey, this crypto thing, I think I'm going to give it a try. And after they get Trump token, it's like, all right, that was cool. Maybe they earned
yeah,
something. Maybe they made something. They're like, I'm going to get myself a little of that Bitcoin they keep talking about, you know? Like,
exactly. Even the Bowden, like even Bowden had a good run at one point on Sol. So
right, dude, yes, yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the stuff. Like, it shows why memes are so cool and why they work, because it just people resonate with them, right? Like people get memes. Um, my guess is this is how the scenario plays out. By the way, so Caitlyn Jenner is a token that dropped yesterday. Scottie Pippen last week, and they did it with RWAs with fractionalizing. Yeah, I mean a real world asset, stick it in a vault, create a token. It feels like a legal loophole, you know,
okay,
and it allows them to make a token. But I only saw this morning as far as went on Caitlyn Jenner's website, and basically there's an auction. There's an auction. You can go bid on a certain number of token, I guess, or you're bidding on, I guess, this metal. It's an NFT, and I guess however much you bid is how much token allocation you're going to get. I think that's what the Trumps will do, right? They said it'll be more like a fair launch, so it's basically like a public sale. And
interesting.
yeah, this is a new meta. It's a new phase for crypto. We've not
Pretty
really
much
seen
hand
this.
me your Bitcoin, hand me your gotcha.
Yeah. Um. So yeah, just guessing this is how it reaches us. I will probably try to get some. I'm just curious what chain it's going to be on at this point.
By the way, I think you and I know, like, and a lot of the other investors, like that business. That's what I was thinking too. Um, there is better return on investment if on some of these coins, like it is kind of gambling, right? But
Oh man, yes.
yeah, so but it
I
is what it is.
never. It is. I say it often, and I never thought I'd be that person, but I say all the, like probably multiple times a day on these shows. Not financial advice, like probably not worth doing, but also like I like to tell people at least some of what I'm doing, you know. So I'll share some things I'm looking at. But man, oh man, is it gambling? It is, and most of these things you lose from experience, and I know you guys too. I know everybody, the names I recognize that are here. Man, you know, it's easy to share wins, and it's much harder to share losses. I can tell you the losses definitely outnumber the wins.
Yeah.
But damn, it's addicting and fun. Just like casinos, right?
Be responsible. Yeah, yeah. The boomers used to just go and tap their little coin machines, right? And we're I guess we're here. So
Yep, absolutely. I'll move on from the Trump stuff, but it's just going to show like the influencers who really did get wrecked yesterday. OSF was one of them. Lost almost $1.5 million in this yesterday.
whoa,
Yeah.
jeez.
Yep. Yeah. People are
Now I
sleuthing
own
around.
5% of the supply.
And it's crazy. He's not even kidding. He had these. He was DCAing. He had all these buys lined up and ready to roll. He walked away from his computer and it dumped right then, so he couldn't cancel his buy orders. Right. Absolutely demolished.
Well, now it's his project. So
Oh my goodness! Community takeover. That's dude. That's amazing.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, hey, you never know with something like this. Honestly, you never know. But man, it's a meme coin meta, and again, the reason I'm so happy to have somebody like Yohann on is so you guys know it's we're into all this stuff too. So Yohann and I talk meme coins. Like he said, he sent me like the MAGA rune very early on.
The Donald Trump, yeah.
Yeah, there's some others too. It's just we live and breathe this space. I've been talking about a couple new ones I like too, and I don't know. I'm just shocked it's as hot as it is for as long as it is. Thanks to new products, Pump.Fun is a big reason why this stuff is so darn hot right now.
I don't know what that is. What is that?
Oh man, I would pull it up, and I think I've gotten myself in trouble a couple times because you have to go and check a not safe for work little tag, otherwise it floods your screen with crazy stuff. But like, it's an awesome new platform that lets anybody launch a token. I sound like I'm cutting a promo for them, but anybody can create a token in like 2 clicks. I mean, it's like upload an image, pick a ticker, maybe write a description, launch a token. It made it super accessible, and it flooded the market with tokens. I mean,
Yeah.
I think they've been around for about 6 months, and I think we're at about 1.5 million tokens created through that
Damn.
ecosystem, which is wild.
Look, there's a whole tab for them over there.
Oh my goodness, dude.
Is that new?
If it's not, it's the first time I noticed it. It's funny because like sometimes I'm staring at stuff so often, and and things right in front of my face don't register. I've not noticed that. Wow.
Oh, jeez.
Hang on, that's why I never noticed that before. Wow.
Well, that tells you how popular it is.
It's incredibly popular. And it's a far cry from what it used to be. I'm dabbling in it now, well after its peak. I mean, this in its heyday, I think, was one of those like FOMO inducing opportunities, like in peak 21 or 22. It was that kind of energy there. I'm kind of bummed I missed it, but also whatever.
So how do they deploy the tokens on Solana, or is it
Yes.
within like a closed environment?
So they deploy it on Solana. There's some rule there. You have to reach a certain market cap. There's a threshold. Once you hit that, then it's like a bonding curve. When you reach a certain market cap, then you can begin trading it on Radium. So it gets like that kind of exchange listing, and some of them just take off. I mean, I'm trying to remember some of the biggest tokens to launch on Pump.Fun. Guys, help me out. What are some of the big tokens that launched here that have become like a staple of this space? I mean, recent ones like SCF, Smoking Chicken Fish, launched here. I love that one. That's one I've been talking a lot about here recently. But yeah, others that have launched through here, I'm not exactly sure. You can tell by the contract addresses though when you click on.
But what
like
about
Floki.
Whiff, eh? What a run. Like,
Did you
what
get
is
in there?
that at? No. I think somebody on the team had mentioned Bonk at one point, way
yeah.
back, and I was like, yeah.
I think we shared that story when Brian Scott were on. I think
I think it
Brian
was
Swift's story.
Scott, yeah. Oh, Brian Swift's story. Damn.
And I think he had said he's probably he had a story. He was the top. I don't know. He stood to make like probably the most gains in that entire ecosystem. If had he hold on for, he was very very early in that.
It happens.
Everybody's gonna have it happen. But you make sure you're around to have a seat at the table the next day and the next day and the next day.
Yeah.
So that's the goal.
I shared that meme in our Slack. It was like the guy sitting there in the rain just trying to have a glass of wine, and I think that was Wall Street Bets his tweet. That was the day that Bitcoin was dropping. Yeah, he was just sitting there having a glass of wine and a bowl of soup, and it's like drenching him, and there's like this alien in the background and tank going through it. Is like that's the space all the time, man. Like every 3 months.
It's crazy. It's crazy, and it reinvents itself every few months. It's wild. What are you into now? If you're not like, I know you're very aware of meme coins. I'm not sure how active you are in it now, but what's your focus on in the space?
I mean, going back to my story of like missing out on Bitcoin and trying to find the next best thing, like I tried other chains. I've journey from food. That's awesome. I just like the whole Bitcoin narrative. I like art on chain. I like that there's no IPFS links. I like meme coins on Bitcoin. So those are the things that excite me. So I'm always on checking out that ecosystem, and it's why I went to Nashville too. So I met the community, some of my Goose community there, the ninjas, decentralized community, as you know. Yeah, just those are my peoples right now.
I got to imagine you probably miss a lot of trading, right? You're one of those guys who are in the trenches, like working, building products, right? You don't get the time to spend in the trenches trading like you used to. How much do you miss it, and how much does that actually does that fuck up your game here?
It sort of does, but it also because I'm in the Bitcoin ecosystem and it's hard to trade there anyways. I think I saw a tweet from Thread Guy or something like that, because it's hard to trade on Bitcoin with the confirmation times, it stops you from actually going in and out super fast. And that's how I'm not good at that.
Oh,
I'm
the
more of
pace is
like
nice. Yeah.
the pace is much better. It's more okay. This week, hold this for a few months, hold that for a few months. That's more my style. So yeah, like these projects are great. They're all great. I have a few of those
You're
top
probably
10.
in all. I always refer to these four as the four. Like I look at those of having they've separated from the rest of the pack. Although there's some other ones that are kind of right there. Like frogs are right there. Goosenals are right there. Right. There's just this like core group of like established early Ordinals collections. The community's there, and man, I remember early on. One of the knocks against the Ordinals ecosystem was the community. There's no community. It's just people who mint, flip out, they're gone. And really, it's just because the user base was so small, I think. But
Yeah.
what do you think of the community there, and actually speak to like the growth in the Ordinals ecosystem? Because you were there day one. You were there day one with Ordinals. I remember you messaging me, and you'd be like, "Man, what do you think?" And it was so early that there was debate on the timeline about would it even work? Will it matter? And some people thought it would be dead in a few months. A lot of
Yeah.
people thought it would never last, and I know you didn't think that.
No, I didn't want to miss something on Bitcoin again. So I was there. I wasn't day one. I think I started inscribing like low what do you call it? Sub 100K. So I have like two or three NFTs in the sub 100K, and those are, I even got my picture up on there. That's
It's
hilarious.
cool. And you might be the first person to put their own photo on it. Honestly, like I don't know.
Oh
I won't
yeah,
be shocked if there's another, but I mean, it was so early that people hadn't really thought of all the things. You got to really say first. You know what I mean? Some people did get to do that.
And I'm part of the collection, right?
Yep.
So the sub 100K, there's not going to be more of that. But yeah, I like the community. As soon as these things started minting, it's the exact same blueprint that happened on Ethereum. Like these things are art, they're NFTs, but at the end of the day, they're communities that are forming. So you're part of the Quantum Craps community. I see OMBs all the time. The puppets are weird and fun, and like they sort of have like this like sporadic sort of like vibe to them, and that's cool. And the monkeys, like, it's like the punks of I think they're like the punks of there's a few of them that like to call themselves the punks of Bitcoin.
Right.
But
who do you think that is?
Well, okay, so this is a good what does it mean to be the punks of Bitcoin, Hudah? Like, does it mean it needs to be first, or does it mean it needs to be decentralized and fair distribution with like organic grassroots sort of minting? What the punks had both of them, I guess, right?
Yes.
Almost both, because there were other NFTs that were even before punks.
Yep, that's true. Oh my God, I know where this is leading. I think there is no punks on Bitcoin. I mean, maybe it's not going there.
Depends on the spirit and what you mean by punks of Bitcoin, like punks, right? So
yeah, I think on Bitcoin the community takes it as who is the community rallied behind. I don't think it's necessarily first. It is a combination of things, but I don't know, man. Again, knowing that punks were, I mean, they were the first 10K PFP collection, right?
Yes.
So they were that. So they obviously influenced. I mean, man, it's wild to see them not only influencing 10K collections on ETH, but now years and years later, I mean, 7 years later, influencing collections on Bitcoin. Ordinals collections are all inspired by punks. It's wild. So,
and if I'm not mistaken, they were one of the only collections that have the art on chain, right? Of the early ones.
One of the very,
like there's no
very,
IPFS links.
That's correct. Yeah, no IPFS.
So that's why, that's untouchable in a way. Damn, you're making me want a punk.
I know it, right? I've told people I have two goals in this space. Stack Bitcoin. And I always say mine Bitcoin through Ordinals and Runes. That's it. Mine Bitcoin and get a punk. Those are the two goals. That's never changed. It's never going to change. I don't care.
But you had that V1 for a while, so you don't consider them the real punk?
I do. I'll tell you what. Like deep down, I know I am always a little bit satisfied just having that V1 punk. Like I want a punk because of the history that's attached to it. And I absolutely, this is never, and I try to make this clear because like Joe teases me about this, thinks I'm pumping my bags when I talk V1 punks. No. I really, really believe I have a small slice of that history, and I'm very happy to have that, given that it was the CryptoPunk that was made. It was the first CryptoPunk. It was the Larva Labs punk. If I never get the next iteration, which is the real CryptoPunk, the one that has got all that value today that everyone agrees is the real CryptoPunk, as do I. If I never get one, I'm so happy to still have a piece of that history in my wallet with a V1 Punk. I love them, man. But I do want a CryptoPunk, the V2s or
Yeah,
whatever people call them.
it's almost like the social part, the social consensus part of things, right? Like that's why the real CryptoPunks are the real CryptoPunks.
Go to hell, Lemon. Yeah. Okay, well, so then if you got to pick a CryptoPunk on Bitcoin, Anthony clipped this, by the way. What do you pick as the CryptoPunk?
For being the first, like, sort of, this is tough, man.
It's
This is
hard.
super tough.
And it's going to be saved, put out there on X. Everyone's going to see Johann's prediction.
Well, I mean, that doesn't mean anything to most people, but like I would say, I'll give my reasons. So I like Node Monks because I have one. um, I don't put it out there, but it's a banger, and I like it because it's sub 100K. I think anything sub 100K is I just think you remember that time. I remember that time. Like you were just an OG at that time, So anything sub 100K, and it being a 10K collection underneath sub 100K, it's just untouchable in that regard. So I think that has some sort of like claim to the throne, but like from a spirit point of view, like a organic, like in the trenches, 10K PFP collection, one under the radar. I just have to pick my favorite collection. One of them, other than the ninjas, is the Goosenals,
Oh, I
because
love it.
it's just like the spirit of it. It was in a bear market. Nobody was minting 10K PFPs. It started totally decentralized, no founders.
Who
And
here, by the way, which of you guys watching, who remembers Goosenals and knows their origin story? Where did they get their start? Because it's like, it is, Yohann, it's one of the most special stories out there.
it is, and it's like it started with a tweet from Dmitry Cerniak, who's got Ethereum sort of like connection, or claim to fame. And Domo, who is the creator of BRC20, just retweeted it and said, "Hey, this would make a nice PFP collection." And it was connected to the MoMA, Museum of Modern Art. It's just got so much going for it, and the China just minted it overnight. That first night that Domo tweeted it, it was just all organic, all organic. And I just love that they're like SVGs on chain, just like SVGs. You can they're brandable. You can blow that up onto the side of a brick wall, like a building, if you wanted to, and they're simple.
Yeah, the community, and then also, I still haven't seen anything like that as far as how kind of quickly it came together and people rallied behind it. And again, Dimitri, like it's not like it's his project, but it comes from his. It was like a stamp generator. What was like? There was some.
So there was a collab between him and MoMA, and they wanted to say, like, he wanted to kind of go with his branding of the goose. If you know the story behind Dimitri Cherniak, he sold the goose to 6529 for his company, or somebody's company, for I don't know, 6 million in the last cycle. So it was this randomly generated ringers part of the Art Blocks series that ended up looking like a goose, and that goose sold for 6+ million, like I said. And Dimitri wanted to make like a 10K collection, so he put this generator up there, which was randomly generating SVGs. You just have to go there and click a few buttons, download the SVG. And so the community did that, downloaded the SVG, uploaded it to Bitcoin on their own dime, and then and everything that was done in the first 10K was, yeah, goose generator. That's it. And the first 10K were indexed by just a random guy who was in spaces talking about it, and it just organically formed. No founders, literally no founders.
It's there's something super punk about it, right? I mean, there is.
That's
Yeah.
exactly why. That's why it's from a spirit, like from a. If you really wanted to understand what the punks were about, that's exactly what it was. You had to go to what was the company that created the punks again? Forget
Oh,
it.
Larva Labs.
Yeah, you had to go to Larva Labs' website, click on the punk that you wanted to get, and they organically minted out until the 10K had reached, right?
Yeah.
And for months nobody wanted them.
That's the wild part. And that, okay, if you had that darn I missed it thing with Bitcoin, you got it again with CryptoPunks. You
Yep.
did, because it's such a wild story. They did take some time to mint out. Even then, they took a while to reach that value on secondary too. It took years. And we missed it. We missed it. And some of you guys I know out here, you got yours, which is awesome. GG's, but it's why I say hopefully often enough. I probably need to say it more, but just, man, don't take yourself off the table, because those opportunities absolutely come around again. They absolutely do.
Yeah, and like, what is going to be the new NFT technology of 2024, 2025, right?
Do you think to me this makes so much sense. I almost can't picture it not happening, other than sometimes great tech comes and we think it's going to be like kind of game changing, and it ends up not being that because people don't appreciate tech. Often we just see that. Okay, ERC 404s to me should be changing NFTs and crypto. It's a merging of the two. I thought this year we would have a major NFT run that was ERC 404 backed, right? And we haven't had it yet, even though, guys, and I'm going to do some current numbers here after the fact, and I'll bring this, maybe next week. Pandora, the 404 collection, as of like a month or two ago, was the top selling NFT collection this year. So the evidence is there that it could happen, but I thought we would have a whole run already that was all ERC 404s, right? You trade fungible tokens, you hold a whole token, it means you an NFT. You sell part of that fungible token, all of a sudden your NFT's burned. It's fascinating. You play in the meme coin ecosystem, you play in NFTs. Do you think that still has potential to be the next run? And like, do you have any thoughts about that tech?
I'm not too familiar with it, but there's a lot of things that you built in there. So there was the fungible token. So you can think of that as like the currency or the medium of exchange, the thing that's very fungible. Then the IP, the art. And so that's another part of things. Like, that's the one part of things I think NFTs really introduced to the space, is like going and get your board ape coffee or your ape DAO, or you were able to now brand your brand with a recognizable sort of intellectual property. And I think like that's the opportunity of some of the projects. I know ninjas are heavily leaning into that. So there's that one part of things, and then you have the other part of things, which is the fungible part. I don't know if ERC 404s, the use case is actually helping that happen better, or creating better brands, but they're definitely looking into a space that combines them. I don't know too much about them, Hudah.
Like if we apply 404s to like PFPs, I don't know that it's anything groundbreaking, other than maybe quicker access to liquidity,
Okay.
which is cool. And I still think there's something to be said for the fact that you're re-rolling traits. Tie some like really special perks to really special traits that you have to re-roll to get it. I think that'd be kind of cool. I really want to see artists play with it. I want to see a Jack Butcher do a big old collection and you re-roll your art, right? I think there'd be a lot of fun there. It just feels kind of like when I was talking about that trading bot, feels like an improvement on trading on a DEX or a centralized exchange. 404s feel like an improvement on NFTs in to some degree fungible tokens, because it gives you a little collectible along with it. So I don't know that it's groundbreaking, but I just thought it adds a new wrinkle, and one that seems useful enough on both sides. So we'll see.
Yeah,
We'll see.
everyone, see, that's the other trend I sort of like picked up in the crypto industry, is like first is first. So you have like the BRC20s that came out, and then all of a sudden right after that, CBRC20s came out, and their whole tagline was CBRCs fixes everything. And like, this sounds like ERC 404 fixes that everything type of thing. And those projects, I hate to say it, you got to come out like 10 times better. You got to come out 5 times better, not just 20% better. You know what I mean? So it's like that's one of the trends I'll see I've seen in the crypto industry.
So we have I don't know, 10-ish minutes left. First off, I want to throw you up on screen here. I want to make sure people follow you if they don't know how to reach you. Haven't seen you before. You got to be following this guy. He's just an incredible guy. Super smart, super friendly. Just awesome guy. I could probably gush for probably an hour here, but real. What the hell is this, Yohann? Real MT.
Well, I'm a mountain biker, so MTB is the short form of mountain biking.
I don't know if that ever clicked, and you probably told me it before. Dude, the older I get, the worse my memory. It's getting really bad. It's getting really bad.
I don't think I've ever told you that, actually. So
okay, that makes me
one
feel
of those
better.
Things.
I gotta ask. Well, a couple things before we go. I want to hear anything you can share about what it is we're building, what to expect in the near future, CryptoSlam related. People know, like, they've seen the light paper. We they've gotten the general teases. They know the NFT, which, by the way, guys, you can still claim it. So just a heads up there. Initially, it was going to end Wednesday for cool reasons, keeping that open a little bit, not really putting it out there. But you can still claim if you did not claim yet. And so we're waiting for more info to come. But anything you can share there. And I also want to hear what it is about Pizza Ninjas you love so much, because I know you love the Pizza Ninjas. So would love to hear you talk about that. Start with whichever you want. If you want to start Pizza Ninjas or CryptoSlam.
So with CryptoSlam, like what we're building is we're building a platform that is trustable. Like, we want to make sure that the data that we're pulling in, and Randy's a data guy. Like, he's a pure data guy. He understands databases down to that level. And to do that, garbage in, garbage out, right? So we're trying. That's an old saying. I'm also an old sysadmin. I first started my career as a sysadmin and data warehousing and all of those different things as an engineer. And we always used to have this saying, garbage in, garbage out. So all of these public blockchains are huge, gargantuan databases everywhere. And we're just bringing the data in and making sure they're not garbage. It's not garbage, so that when we present it up on CryptoSlam, it's trustable. And we're doing it so that it's trustable by the entire industry. So, that's why we have wash trading. That's why we have aggregations that make sense to that level, where it makes it easy for someone just to come and see. So I will say, like, that we're just going to be pushing forward on that sort of way of doing things, and to have that being done, I'm sorry to be vague, but like, that requires a certain vision. It's a certain infrastructure, certain incentives, and all of the different parts that sort of put it all together. So I'm sorry to be vague, but like, that's what I'm going to reveal. Oh yeah, I can't hear you, Hudah, for some reason.
Muted. Sorry about that. Yeah, no, it's how I've been framing stuff too. It is vague. It's a bit of an infrastructure thing that's happening, but it's also all these really cool components and pillars, and it is CryptoSlam, like I mentioned at the start, just branching out and becoming much more Web3 in a way that I think people are going to be super excited about. So that part's cool. By the way, as I was scrolling through, I saw a Monument Game NFT sell here, which I'm not sure if these are. No, maybe they are official, like Sam Spratt stuff. You never know, because again, this is live data. This is coming from the blockchain. It's something that actually does set CryptoSlam apart that I don't know if a lot of people know, because I didn't know for a while. But this is live data, and that doesn't exist many other places, if any. I don't think any. And so I love scrolling through and something catches me by surprise, because it literally just happened on the blockchain. So this caught my eye. I thought that was super cool.
Is that an art piece?
It's from the Monument Game itself, so I'm trying to remember how that worked. I know there were the Skull of Lucy's, and those got you a seat on the council. And then separately, if anybody else is an art head and remembers, I can't remember if it was the Skull of Lucy holders or there were the Monument Game NFTs minted on Nifty Gateway, and those let you like inscribe on the piece, the Monument Game piece itself. I think it's that. I think it's the piece that let you inscribe like a player token. So it's such a fascinating piece, man. And that whole chapter unfolded, not chapter 5 like you see here, but the Monument Game unfolded right around the time of the Dmitry Cherniak. And I think I say his last name wrong. But at the time where that sold at Sotheby's or Christie's, that $6 million or so sale, that happened. This Monument Game NFT was minted on Nifty Gateway. It was really an exciting time for art. And man, that piece went for, I think, $700,000 or so. I mean, it's a pretty significant piece. And we keep seeing significant moments for art here in the space. I love it, man.
Yeah, we could do like a whole other episode on art, couldn't we?
Oh my goodness, yes. I was chatting with somebody about that yesterday too, and absolutely, it's funny, especially the people who are still around right now. It's an NFT bear market. I think it's safe to say that the people who are around, at least paying attention, they're not that the people who say we're here for the art and then truly aren't. The guys here now are actually here because they enjoy art. So I do think we could have a cool art conversation. So we
Yeah.
should definitely do that sometime. Um, yeah, I would love that. Pizza Ninjas. I love them. I know you love them even more. I know you got one. What is it about these guys that you think is so special?
Design. Like from when I read the design white paper, I was like blown away. I was like, Trevor's one of the only guys that are thinking about design and visuals like on that level. And when I saw like what how the Bored Ape businesses were building up in the last bull cycle, like people were putting them on coffee, like Bored and Hungry and all of the chains and stuff. So taking that concept of producing intellectual property that's visually appealing and using that as your brand, like that's exactly what appeals to me. Yeah, and I just like the whimsical nature of the design itself, like the colors. I'm a big color guy, and like he put the thought through on the colors. Like I mean the
Oh, they really
colors,
pop. They really. I
dude. I
mean,
mean, I was actually looking. Um, anyways, I think that one got pulled off the market by one of your
this
friend
right here.
Udi. No, Udi might have picked. Udi had a tweet the other day, and he was looking at the exact same ninja I was looking at. I'm like, damn it, So I think he got that one. But like, I love the design, design and brandability.
They absolutely stand out. Again, the colors look great. They're so clean. They remind me of Doodles. They were, again, in their own way, but they remind me of Doodles in that they are playing a different game than the rest of the spaces, and it feels to me like they're playing a whole different game, like a very long term
Oh,
thing.
you should have seen that big screen. Like I was involved with that party, and like that big screen where they showed the on that giant 210-foot long screen, and you saw the ninjas walking and everything like that. It was insane. And I have one of the coolest ninjas, I feel. Anyways, I think Trevor even told me that. So I like that ninja.
Yeah. Oh man, he's so good. They did something special. The fact that they all look good, like every single one in the collection looks like unique and good. And but that one's super cool. Is that like a ghost? Is there like a name for like?
Yeah, it's a spirit. It's like a spirit Monomi. I've been told it's worth at least one BTC.
Oh
So there's
wow.
that. Yeah.
Huh. Hey guys, you should probably
Yeah,
not
I'm not
okay.
gonna sell it though.
Not financial advice, but you should probably try and mine some Bitcoin. Like those
Yeah.
ordinals are something special. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. They've done a lot more. I know they've got they've got a Nintendo 64 that's actually inscribed on chain via these, right? Like these are just like a PFP and a collectible, but it's actually like man, it's like software, inscribed on chain forever. This will never not exist because it's on Bitcoin now. It's so impressive what these guys have done. So
Yeah,
gotta get my ass in there one day.
PFP. Yeah, they had a nice little dip last week, but looks like it's back up.
I'm kind of, oh man, dude, I shouldn't have looked at this right now. I'm always hoping they inscribe some more. I always heard that they might that the collection may grow similar to like OMB or something like that. And I don't know if it's true or not, but I hope so. Otherwise, to secondary I go.
Yeah, that Pizza Pets thing. Have you heard about that?
Yeah, and I think I've seen teases like there's these eggs. I think am I thinking of the right thing?
Mm-hmm.
And some kind of relationship with the Megapunks or Megapon. I might maybe mix that up.
Yes. So when you were asking me about and I know we got to go here soon, but the CryptoPunks of Bitcoin, that one flashed through my mind. The Megapunks, cool collection, sub 100K ish or sub 1 million, but like they have I guess a partnership with ninjas where if you own some ninjas, you own some Megapunks, you'll get some pets.
Interesting. Well, I
Yeah.
have some punks. I think I have two, and I like them. They felt early, and they felt like they have a very punkish vibe. They do.
They do.
There's something about them that feels different. And they're dirt. I got to pull those up because okay,
The
again,
founder doesn't give a fuck about marketing. Sorry,
that's so
you
cool.
say that. He just he knows what he's got. He's got a good collection, and so.
So sometimes here, and again, I it's not financial advice. It's really not. But you guys know how I feel about like honey badgers, and I'll try to put stuff on your radar that I think is like a good value. I think for the price, it's a great thing to collect, and nothing more. No comment on future value, but these are early. They've been around. It is that great community. They do have really, really interesting, recognizable art. I do have some of these. I love them. I think they're awesome.
I do too. I
it's
remember
memecoins.
looking for rares here and scooping them. So
Great looking, right? Any
yeah.
advice? What's rare in this collection that people might want to keep an eye out for?
Yeah, there's some weird ones, man. Like there's some weird, like the anyone with a big hat is cool. um, yeah, I forget. There's certain one. Look at the drop downs on the left hand side, and see there's number counts there. So I always try and get one with a low number, like that alien, for example.
These ones are
You see
pretty
those
cool.
ones cool. Yeah, look at those. Like somebody might try and floor one of those. You know what I mean?
Yep. Hey, always worth throwing offers at stuff too, guys. Sometimes people need to get liquid and they'll take an offer, and there's just this number bias on Bitcoin. Like 0.1, it doesn't sound like a lot. 0.1's a lot, guys. It's $6,000. So I mean, you could probably. It's always worth throwing offers out there. Just worth saying that. These look pretty cool, by the way.
Yeah,
The
yeah. There's
aliens.
some.
I may do a little digging in there.
Yeah,
I
I
may go
like
for a
that
couple more.
collection, and it's unique too. Like it's not one of those where just low effort art. They're unique.
Yeah. Dude, thank you so much for coming. It was like a reunion show from the old CryptoSlam Clubhouse days, which, guys, there's some cool videos out on the CryptoSlam YouTube. I think it still exists, but some great interviews back in the days with Art Blocks and the Autograph platform and FX Hash and all kinds of cool builders in this space, Sorare. Just good stuff. Go dig through that content if you're itching for some a walk through memory lane. But again, Yohann, appreciate you joining. Please don't be a stranger. You're welcome on any time here.
Okay, well, thank you, and it was a pleasure. I think the hour went by pretty fast for me, so that means we had a good time.
Dude, it flew. So guys, make sure you follow us on X at SlamXIO. Give my boy Yohann a follow too. Real MTB man. And then, of course, CryptoSlam.io. And if you are watching over on X, subscribe over on YouTube. It's SlamX Official. Guys, I'll see you on the afternoon show. We should have Joe live from VCon. I may be talking Henry back into the show, so stay tuned. He may be back. Guys, 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. I'll see you right here on SlamX. Have a great day, guys.
Peace.